Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's been a little while since I posted. I want to give you guys an update on my current 3.7 liter Mustang. It's going to be a 2014. I've got that little kind of eBay RTR style grill on there and a bumper that I just put on it because the ones were smashed when I got it. The car only has 66,000 miles on it or something, and when I got it, the original engine was blown. I don't know what they did. Didn't change the oil bead on it or something, but that was good for me because I was able to get a deal on her. So it came with those stanced out 20s on the car already, and like I said, pretty low mileage. So I went ahead and picked it up, got an engine off eBay, and went ahead and slapped it in there, and it runs mint. So I got lucky and got a good one there. I got a really good deal on it too. And that's a good thing, is these old 3.7s are such hidden gems. To, I paid $600 shipped for the engine. It makes over 300 horsepower stock. So anyway, she's been running good. I've put about 4,000 miles on it since I've had it. And right now I have just a eBay deal, airflow dynamic intake. I got that on there. And then I also have some straight pipes at the back where they're just, the stock mufflers have just been deleted, and straight pipes running up underneath there. Let me see if we can, I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, so no mufflers. And I've got the live wire TS in there, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to go ahead and put on some fresh AC Delco plugs and 6 Motorcraft 55 pound per hour GT500 injectors. And the reason we're going to do that is because in our live wire TS, we bought it from 5-Star Tuning, and we're going to go ahead and put an E85 tune in it. So I'm super stoked. I might put a little nitrous on the car after that too. We're going to kind of set it up as a little sleeper GT killer. And yeah, without further ado, you just got to basically pull off the upper intake plenum. Got some 8mm right there, and then pull off the fuel rail in order to change the plugs and injectors. Let me get right to that, and I'll catch back up with you guys and show you guys the results. Alright, let's get that last plug out on this driver's side bank. See what she looks like. Threw a couple misfire codes when I first put the engine in, and it stopped doing that, but I had a feeling these plugs are a shot. Probably the original ones that came in this engine. So let's see here. Oh yeah, things, I'm not sure how good you guys can see that, but yeah, even right there, look how big the gap is on that puppy. It's just burnt. You look at it up close, you can see. I don't know how good you guys can see that. You can see where it's just worn down. Looked like the original, probably the original Motorcraft plugs in there. So, and then we got these AC Delcos, which is what they had. I didn't want to put anything crazy like iridium or double platinum, or, I mean, even out of the box without gapping, you can see how much tighter the gap is in there. We'll adjust that as necessary. But yeah, you're probably thinking AC Delco plug in a Ford, but hey, whatever works. I actually wanted a copper plug, like an NGK copper, because if I put a little nitrous on this thing, if you're turbo or boosted, you don't want these platinum or iridium plugs. They'll cause pre-detonation because the plug runs too hot. So, but for now, these are fine. This AC Delco single platinum. Let me go ahead and slam these in there, get that plenum off, and I'll catch right back up with you guys. Alright, we've got the boot disconnected for our airflow dynamic intake. A couple plugs here and there, throttle body. Gotta do some of the PCV lines or whatever over there, and you know, if you undo those 8mm on the top, you can see this plenum will just lift right off here. Excuse me, I'm trying to work with one hand. That puppy just comes right off. probably a good idea to put some rags or something like that down in your intake throughout the job so you don't get some crap down in your engine. From there, that allows us to get to the fuel rail and the other 3 plugs. Even if you're just changing just your plugs on these 3.7s, you got to take off the plenum, which isn't a big deal, don't take long. Let me go ahead and slam these GT500 injectors in there, another 3 plugs. After that, I'm going to put it back together. I'm going to download our 5-star tune. I'm not going to do the E85 yet. I have got 4 tunes from them. I'm still waiting for one more. I got an 86 economy, 87 performance, 91 performance. They don't serve 93 up here, so I just did the 91 performance, which is what we're going to be running on most of the time. So yeah, having said that, let me go ahead and get these injectors in there. Alright, as you can see, we have our Ford Racing GT500 injectors in the rail. And we're going to get a little bit of lube on them because you don't want the O-rings to go in there dry. So you just need a little something to get them on there. Ain't gotta be perfect, just get a little lube on them. It's never good to go in dry, as they say, so don't need a crazy amount. And these injectors are a good bit longer than the original ones, but I don't think it's gonna create a big issue because you have like the locking clips where they're gonna go in that little slot. You can't really see it that good, and lock them into the rail to keep them from going up too deep into the rail. I thought about leaving those off, but then where it feeds it's kind of like a side entrance, so I don't want the injector to go too far down in there and block the passage or want to walk around on us. So it looks like the rail has a little bit of room to sit up a little bit higher. I mean, I know I've seen other guys online running these injectors in here, which is a good budget option. I mean, just in case we ever go boost on this car too, I've considered the idea of a rear mount turbo on here, like a oilless Pro Comp turbo mounted at the rear would be pretty sweet on here, just on like a low boost setup, but we'll see. I mean, I'd probably want a little more injector than that, but these 55s would hold it on low to medium boost. I mean, if they'll hold a factory GT500 or a bolt-on GT500, they're gonna hold up on this little 3.7 for some mild boost. But yeah, anyways, for now it's just gonna be a E85 tune bolt-on car, and probably throw a little nitrous on there and see where we go from here. But let me get these back on here and get him sitting right, and I'll show you guys the finished product. Alright guys, got the GT500 injectors in there. They're not a straight swap. Being that they're taller, the first thing that happened to me is I put them at the installed height that they would be at with the locking clips on the first slot in the injector, and this side of the rail was hitting on the bottom of intake. There's a couple ribs that look like they could be trimmed back a little bit to give you a little more clearance. What I did is I went ahead, you can't see it that good, but I moved the injector up into the fuel rail body a little further, and luckily there's kind of like a second slot in that injector closer to the clip, where the plug plugs into it, that you can still use the locking clips. And I cycled the key to make sure they were sealing up, because if you get too deep up into the rail, what's going to happen is like an uneven part where it's just the casting is, and the O-ring may not seat flush, and it could leak if the injector goes too far up into the rail, or you could block the fuel flow since it's side entrance. But having it locked in on that second slot, it looks like they're sitting good, and I'll have plenty of room to clear my intake. And on a further note, I had to put some spacers, a couple washers between there and the intake where it bolts down, you know, to make up for the increased spacing. Sorry if my phone's not catching this or focusing in that good, guys. I'm not sure what's going on here. But yeah, anyways, sorry about the bad quality there for a second. Let me go ahead and get this intake on and get my phone working a little better to shoot this, and we will finish up the video and load up the tune. Alright, there she is, guys. The Livewire TS is downloading our 91 octane performance tune. Again, I'm not going to do the E85 until I get down to Crucis and drain my tank, and, or, you know, run it all out driving down there, and then I'll fill it up with some E85. You know, for daily driving, it'll probably just be the 87 performance tune or something like that. But we'll do the 91, go through some premium in it, see how it drives. It's all back together under the hood. I'll show you guys real quick. Bear with me here. She's got the intake plenum back on. One more side note too, guys. I didn't get a chance to mention it, but I also took these green O-rings that came off the bottom of the GT500 injectors because they're a little too small. Where it goes into the intake, the stock ones are a little thicker and beefier. So a little side note, if you do the GT500 injectors, you will need to put some little washers to space up the rail like I talked about, and you'll have to swap the O-rings from the bottom of the stock injectors. Other than that, it went right in there. You can see the intake's back on there. We got our new plugs in there, so it should be absolutely loving it. This airflow dynamic intake, we'll see. You know, if you start looking around, it's actually a clone of the AFE intake for the 3.7s, just at like less than half the price or something. It was like $160, $170 or something. But so for my custom tune, I went ahead and just told them, hey, it's an AFE clone, so you know, if you can adjust your calculations. So that they didn't really say otherwise, you know. So I mean, at the end of the day, you're just adding a little bit of airflow. So you know, we live up here right now at a pretty high altitude, so there's not a lot of air to be had up here. So whatever we can get into it will help. I mean, this intake's all right. It had mixed feelings about it. I almost left the stock air box, but it sounds good, and it actually comes with a halfway decent heat baffle. It'd be ideal to try to pipe it down into the fender or do something like that, or have an enclosed box with a ram air or something like that. But it is what it is, dude, for what they go for, you know. I mean, if you're in not too hot a weather with those baffles on there, I mean, in theory, you could pick up a little bit with these, but people have mixed opinions about them. But anyways, I like having an intake on my car. If anything, it sounds good. But yeah, let's get back over here and see how long our Livewire TS is taking. Alright, well, let me let that finish, and then I'll get her fired up and get back with you guys. Thanks for watching. There it is, guys. We got our custom 5-star tuning 91 performance octane tune in there. That is calibrated for the Ford Racing 55 pound-per-hour injectors. Plus it's calibrated for our intake. Air-fuel ratios look cherry on bank 1 and 2. It's not running rich with those injectors. She sounds pretty spicy. So the next step will be, we'll have to try to log a little data. I don't really have any like mile-an-hour runs on, you know, say the quarter mile or something to really get a good baseline. I had some 0 to 60 pulls on street tires with the canned SCT tune, and just, you know, wasn't really calibrated for the intake right. Anyways, I did 0 to 60 4.75 on that setup at like 4,000 feet altitude in Alamogordo, and like some really crappy air, but that was on a perfect launch. So it's really hard to compare those numbers because you have the factor of your launch, you know, so you could be comparing oranges to apples. But if we can beat that time under any circumstances with a good launch, we'll know we're moving in the right direction. I really need to get a good draggy and kind of, you know, see the mile an hour at the end of a pull. Is a really good indicator of what kind of horsepower you're making. But, you know, clearly we should have picked a little bit up. So yeah, next time I see you guys, we'll be running this thing against some GTs and see where we stack up. Maybe I'll post another little video of me putting the nitrous on it. But until then, I will see you guys soon. Have fun.